So I would like to welcome you to what is happening in my garden and my allotment this week. It's been a very interesting week weather-wise. We have had some sunshine, which is quite nice. We've had a lot of kind of mizzle because we're on the east coast of the UK, and so we actually get quite a lot of this fret that comes in from the North Sea, and it's been a little bit grey. We've had a little bit of rain. I wouldn't say a lot of rain, but overall it's been quite cool in my opinion. And behind me in my greenhouse I have got tomatoes that are not ripening still. Some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. Anyhow, the sun has come out now, so let's have a look at what I've done. One thing we did this week was we dug our main crop potatoes. These are called Maris Piper, and I must say I'm not very happy at all. The haulms grew to about a foot tall, they were very yellow, and then they started dying off. And you can see on the trug on the left, the yield is not great. This is a row and a little bit. We have holes in them from slugs. We've also got scab on them, so they're not going to keep very well in storage. We're going to have to use them as soon as possible. So one thing that hasn't been very successful this year is my cucumbers. My aubergines have been great, and in this greenhouse, I'm on the allotment greenhouse, and in this greenhouse I've got cucumbers and aubergines mainly. I've got a couple of melons as well. But what happened with these cucumbers was they started really well in the season. Then we got all that cold weather, and now they are actually growing up this, you can see I've got these ropes here going up into the apex of the greenhouse, and there is growth. So there's growth on the top, but further down we've got these yellowing leaves all the way down. So I'm going to take all those leaves off and hope for the best. I do have one right down here that has powdery mildew. The rest of them don't. On the other side of the greenhouse, I've got some F1s, and they're not doing too badly. I've got a couple of cucumbers ready to pick actually. See, they're pretty good. So that's one job that I'm definitely doing this week, is taking off all of these dry leaves from the cucumbers. Last year we couldn't keep up with the cucumbers. We had so many cucumbers, it was amazing. So I'm going to leave them in. I've got one at the back that's completely dead, and that's one of those round ones, so that's going to come out, but I will keep trying with them. I've just watered them and fed them, and yeah, we'll just hope for the best. So I'm here in my big greenhouse, where I have the majority of my tomatoes. I've got them on either side of the greenhouse, and I've got them all the way along the back as well. And this is where they're at the moment. Lots and lots of lush growth, which is great. I'm taking all the leaves off the bottom as we go up, and flowers, and then tiny little tomatoes. Okay, I was late this year in putting my tomatoes in, I will admit that, but I just wasn't expecting this kind of summer. And I have, in the smaller greenhouse across the way, I've also got some kind of excess tomatoes as well. The ones on this wall are not too bad. They're a little bit further along than these ones, so I'll just show you these ones. I'm just going to turn the camera around so you can see. There we are. The only thing about these ones is, because I've got fruit on them, the top growth is kind of slowing down as well. I don't want to take the tops out yet because I'm just hoping that I'll get, you know, a little bit more in the way of tomatoes. They are on an automatic watering system, a gravity-fed watering system, and they are getting fed, so that's not a problem. Yes, I have got tomatoes coming, which is really lovely, but I do have quite a lot of varieties, and it would be just really nice if I could just get a few more coming. But you never know, September might be a great month, and if it is a great month, then we'll be fine. So there's a couple of varieties that are doing quite well at the moment here in the big greenhouse. You can see them here in front. I have Barry, who, well, it's called Barry's Crazy Cherry, and I've just harvested the whole truss. This tomato, talk about value for money. This is one of the best tomatoes for value for money, and it's very, very tasty as well. So that's going in. I'm sure Mr. N will be snacking on those tonight. Here, this is Black Beauty. Now, with these black tomatoes, when you want, I've had a lot of people ask me, when do you know when they're ripe? Because from the top, they are jet black, and that is called anthracene or something like that. That's the type of tomato it is, and that's what makes it delicious. So what you do is turn it up, and you can see this one here is just going blush pink. So that's going to come in with me because I'll let it ripen. The ones above aren't. They're still greeny on the bottom, and that's when you know when they're ready. So any tomato that is just starting to turn, you can actually bring in. It's not going to affect the taste of the tomato at all. So you can bring it in and ripen it on the windowsill, and then it just gives the plant, gives it more energy to be put into, sorry, I'm just kneeling down, the other tomatoes and ripening other tomatoes. This one here is coming in with me too. So this is called Black Cherry, and this is a new one for me. I haven't grown this before, but it's really lovely. It doesn't really go black. It goes this kind of chocolate brownie color. And Mr. N said it's very nice as well. That's about the size of it at the moment with ripening tomatoes. I also have a hanging basket, and I've got tomatoes that they have been ripening, but the rest of my tomatoes are not nowhere near where they were last year. So you just have to hope two things. You have to hope that you don't get blight. That's the first thing. And you just have to hope that we get a little bit more light and a little bit more heat. So one thing I need to keep an eye on this year are my lettuces and my leaves, my cut and come again leaves, because it's been a terrible year for slugs and snails. And now I have just noticed, this is one of my veggie pods, I've noticed caterpillars eating my cos lettuce. It's just incredible. So every day I have to come out. I'm just looking here. As I'm doing this, I'm looking at my, see, look, I've got a leaf that is closed, and what have I got in here? A bloomin' caterpillar, and it's just gone down into there. Oh, that's just madness. There it is, complete madness. So fortunately, I'm going to be harvesting one of these cos tonight, but with cos, I normally chop them off and take the whole lot inside, but because I don't have much in the way of lettuce until the next lot comes, I'm gonna take the outside leaves and do it that way tonight. Yeah, and I will keep looking for slugs and snails. They ate a lot of my lettuce, and that's why I'm a little bit precious with it. In the veggie pod behind me, I don't know whether you can see it, I've got some more lettuce in there, which I will have a look at. That's more the kind of Lolo Rosso, and I've got an iceberg in there, and I also have some oak leaf, and I keep an eye on those as well. So I'm just going to go through all of this now and check for caterpillars, and also check for slugs and snails. The other thing we've really enjoyed doing this week is going to the seaside. We have such a beautiful seaside up here in Lincolnshire, and we had such a beautiful day this week, and so we went and visited. It was gorgeous. So thank you for watching this video. I'm Susie B, and this is Susybliving channel, and I'll see you next time. I'm going to harvest some wild strawberries.